Mr. Speaker, today I rise in strong support of my bill, the Bipartisan Fire Improvement and Reforming Exceptional Events Act, or FIRE Act for short. This common sense bill ensures that states like Colorado are not punished for smoke and emissions that they cannot control while still maintaining strong environmental protections and incentivizing good forest management practices to prevent wildfires. The Front Range of Colorado has consistently struggled to meet ozone attainment levels set by the Federal Clean Air Act, despite the fact that data and science show that more than 70% of emissions originate from sources outside of Colorado. My mission when I came to Congress was to find a streamlined, nonpartisan solution to this problem to cut red tape and help lower costs and protect the economy for my constituents. My proposal simply clarifies how emissions from wildfires, prescribed burns, and other exceptional events are treated in federal air quality reviews. It maintains environmental protections that benefit Americans while allowing states the flexibility they need to comply with the Clean Air Act without needlessly enacting punitive regulations on the economy and job creators and consumers. Mr. Speaker, I've heard some of my colleagues on the other side of the aisle argue this bill is unnecessary because there's already enough flexibility under the Clean Air Act for exceptional events and prescribed burns. Allow me to address that. 2 years ago this week, 4 Western state governors, 2 Republicans, 2 Democrats, including my governor, Jared Polis, and the Democrat governor from Arizona, sent a letter to President Biden highlighting challenges that Western states face in complying with the Clean Air Act and asking for greater flexibility. I have the letter. Their #1 request was for the Biden EPA to, quote, identify how exceptional events frameworks can be more appropriately implemented given increased wildfire activity and provide more consideration for emissions benefits of wildfire mitigation strategies in reducing air pollution in the West and nationally, end quote. 2 Republican, 2 Democrat governors agree that good wildfire mitigation reduces air pollution. The FIRE Act does exactly this, and I'm proud that it's been endorsed by the Western Governors Association, whose members range from Greg Abbott to Gavin Newsom. Additionally, 3 years ago, 25 Democrat members from California, including both current senators, wrote to the EPA under President Biden, claiming that the Clean Air Act as written jeopardizes their state's ability to deploy prescribed burns and comply with the Clean Air Act. Part of the letter reads, quote, while we appreciate the possibility that our concerns could be addressed through the use of the EPA's exceptional events rule, the reality is that this process is unworkable for the scale of prescribed fire that will be necessary to protect our communities from increasingly catastrophic wildfires. The exceptional events rule is specifically designed for unusual or naturally occurring events that can affect air quality but are not reasonably controllable. This does not simply describe prescribed fires, end quote. Legislation like the FIRE Act has been asked for time and again by members of both parties, and it's why I'm so proud to lead this bill alongside my good colleague, Adam Gray, a California Democrat. While I've heard that some claim the bill is unnecessary and accomplishes nothing, Mr. Speaker, I've heard others say that the bill would do too much and fill our air with pollution. This also could not be further from the truth. As the father of a son who struggles with asthma, no one wants clean air more than I do. I want a healthy environment for all Coloradans and all Americans, and that's why this bill is narrowly tailored to maintain strong environmental protections. It actually reduces negative health outcomes that result from catastrophic wildfire smoke by encouraging more mitigation practices that reduce emissions through better wildfire prevention. I'll illustrate this point. A 2024 report compiled by fire experts and tribal leaders asserts that the severe health and economic harms of wildfire smoke are, quote, largely neglected, if not inadvertently caused by Clean Air Act regulations themselves, end quote. I would also add that under current law, working families are penalized for emissions they're not responsible for, which leads to unemployment and higher costs, in a word, poverty, and poverty also worsens health outcomes. The Fire Act is a common-sense, bipartisan solution to existing air quality regulations, and it's sorely needed. That's why the bill has been endorsed by more than 25 different national, state, and local organizations that transcend industries, interests, and partisan divides. It protects the environment and promotes clean air by cutting red tape and allowing us to do a better job of reducing fuel loads and reducing damaging emissions from wildfire smoke. I want to thank my colleague, Rep. Gray, for his support and leadership, as well as the chairman of the Energy and Commerce Committee and the subcommittee for all of their work advancing this bill. Encourage my colleagues to vote in favor of the Fire Act and yield back.
Our reserve